Hello and welcome to Ian's Music Room and my 4-track adventure. I've definitely been having lots of fun with this and really enjoying reacquainting myself with how I recorded and produced music before the computer and DAW. I've been on this adventure for a few months now and thought it would be interesting to take stock and do a review of the process so far. There have been a few surprising results and realizations along the way, but first a recap on the initial idea for the project. At first I wanted to somewhat recreate how I made and recorded music in the past, and by using the equipment and instruments that I had at the time, with the 4-track as the recording medium and central focus for this. It quickly became apparent that restricting myself to past gear was creatively stifling and unproductive. The 4-track, however, has been inspirational, absolutely brilliant. The whole project moved from recreating the past to reinvigorating my whole approach to music. In terms of composing, practicing, rehearsing, performing, improvising, recording, and producing. So let me explain. I always used to compose with an instrument and on paper. At some point in the last 10 years or so, this has almost entirely been replaced by composing in the DAW. The initial idea will still be from me playing an instrument, but it would very quickly move inside the DAW and then to be manipulated and formed in there. This has many advantages, but I have realized in my 4-track adventure that keeping the music in my head in an instrument and on paper is somehow more tangible and real. I feel more connected with the music. Creativity and ideas may develop more slowly, but they develop more meaningfully. Don't get me wrong, the power and flexibility of a DAW is a massive benefit, but it's been great not using it. And in the future, I might want to carefully consider at what stage I bring a composition into the computer, possibly after it is more fully formed in the physical world. As I have got into the habit of getting ideas into the computer very early on, this has meant that I haven't had to practice and rehearse the music before the recording phase as I used to. I'm ashamed to say that this has made me a little lazy, and editing a recording has become more easy than putting in the effort to get it right in the first place. With a 4-track cassette recorder, there is no way to edit, so I have had the joy of remembering that before recording, I really need to practice and rehearse beforehand. This moves on to performing. On the 4-track, I really have to perform on the recording to the finished level. No option to edit and fix as I can in the DAW. In the last few years, I've not been doing the live performing that used to be such a big part in my life, and it's shocking how rusty I have become. So it's been great to brush up on my performing skills. I'm still nowhere near the level that I used to be, but I'm so grateful that I started this 4-track adventure to get myself back on track. Improvisation has always been a very big and important element of my music making. In the computer, it's easy to comp together different takes and to try out different ideas without losing anything. And all this is great. It's a really creative process in its own way. But I've also rediscovered a more direct and spontaneous creativity that is very liberating and in the same time exacting. On the 4-track cassette recorder, There is no option to comp takes or go back to a previous idea if it's been recorded over. It really brings a purer sense of improvisation and creativity in the moment. Something that I always do in my improvised playing, but has been lacking from my recordings of late. Which brings me on to recording. When I first started my 4-track adventure, I thought this would be the biggest challenge, but funnily enough, this has been very easy to get back into and revealed some forgotten benefits. When recording to an analog format, I had to be mindful of the recording level to get a good strong signal in relation to the noise floor. Recording onto analog can be really creative, pushing the input signal so it starts to saturate and distort in a really lovely way. And if you want a lo-fi effect, it's really easy. All you do is record at a lower level, closer to the noise floor, so you get all that lovely tape hiss and noise, which we try to recreate with a plugin these days. The sound of recording on the 4-track is also really nice and pleasing to my ear. The crosstalk you get between recording on different tracks is also really nice and adds a richness and character that I just can't get in the digital world. Production. Again, with a DAW, it's so easy to edit and move things around and to try out different ideas, and all this is great. But when recording onto a 4-track, I have had to have fully formed ideas before recording, as there's no way to change things afterwards. This gets me out of the computer and back to myself, my creativity, my imagination, the music in my hands. Computers are amazing, and I wouldn't want to be without them. But it's good to question what and how much I do in them, and what and how much I do in myself. So, to wrap up and conclude, my 4-track adventure has been, and continues to be, a rediscovery of how I used to make music, but not in the technical gear-based way that I thought it would be, but in a much more creative, performance-based exploration of myself and the music. Moving forward, I am definitely going to continue my 4-track adventure, and I really look forward to sharing this with you. Thank you for tuning in. Please do like and subscribe and hit the notification bell, and I look forward to seeing you in my next 4-track adventure.